He is outside the door. I can hear the wet, heavy thud of his boots against the carpet. The auditor is patient. He knows I have no name left to hide behind. I have maybe 30 seconds. Everything is gone. My records, my face in the mirror. This glass sphere in my hands is the only thing that is still real. It hums, a low vibration that makes my teeth ache. It started 72 hours ago. I was just a cog, a ghost in a gray suit. The office smelled of old toner and dying lilies. Life was a loop of spreadsheets and cold coffee. The same routine. Every single day. Then I found it. Tucked in the back of a rusted locker. A glass orb. No wires, no battery. Just a trapped, swirling radiance that smelled faintly of ozone and summer rain. The first change was quiet. I came home, but my key didn't fit the lock. The brass felt cold, wrong. I knocked, and a stranger answered. A heavy man with eyes like oil slicks. He looked at me as if I were a smudge on the glass. He didn't recognize my voice. He didn't recognize the way I breathe. My apartment was filled with furniture I'd never seen. The walls were the color of a bruise. I checked my phone. It was blank. Every contact, every photo of the woman I think I loved, gone. The screen was just a white, clinical glare. I tried to remember her name. It started with a K? Or maybe a C? The more I looked at the orb in my pocket, the more the memory dissolved, like salt in water. I'm standing in the rain now. The water is freezing, but I can't feel it. I went back to the office. The building looked taller, sharper. I buzzed the security desk. My voice sounded thin, like paper tearing. I gave them my employee ID. Silence. Then a voice came through the speaker. A dry, grinding sound. They told me there was no record of a man by my name. I looked at the glass doors. I couldn't see my reflection. Just the empty street behind me. The orb began to pulse. It felt warm against my leg, almost affectionate. I realized the trade. Every spark of joy it gave me was fueled by a piece of my history. It was eating my past to keep me warm. I forgot my mother's face. Then, the way our kitchen smelled on Sunday mornings. The smell of bleach and burnt toast. It's all being replaced by this golden, suffocating light. I am sitting in a stairwell now. level 4, or maybe level 40. The geometry of this place is changing. The hallways stretch when I'm not looking. My hands feel numb. I'm trying to write down her name, but the pen just carves grooves into the paper. No ink, no identity, just the rhythmic scratching. Scritch, 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 like claws on a chalkboard. I think the auditor is on the floor below. My phone buzzed. A text from a number that didn't exist. It just said, "The worst is yet to come." My heart didn't even race. I'm too tired for adrenaline. I looked at my skin. It's becoming translucent. I can see the veins, but the blood looks like liquid gold. The orb is winning. It's not a device. It's a cocoon. And I am the thing being consumed inside it. I thought about calling for help. But who? The police? They would ask for a social security number. I don't have one anymore. They would ask for a home address. That apartment belongs to the man with the oily eyes now. I am a tenant in a world that has evicted my soul. The air here tastes like old metal and fear. Mostly fear. The auditor is at the door now. He doesn't breathe. He just exists. On the other side of that wood, I can feel his presence like a weight on my chest. A crushing, atmospheric pressure. The text came again. Break the jar, Tim. Tim. Is that my name? It feels heavy, like a lead weight in my mouth. I don't want to be Tim. Tim was miserable. Tim was a cog. But Tim had a daughter. I remember her laugh. It sounded like small bells. I raised the orb. It was beautiful. A tiny universe of stolen smiles and forgotten birthdays. If I break it, I go back to the gray. I go back to the spreadsheets and the cold coffee. I go back to being nobody. But at least I'll be a nobody who belongs to someone. I slammed it down. The sound wasn't a crack, it was a scream. 1,000 voices returning at once. A white-hot explosion of memory. Light was everywhere. It filled my lungs. It burnt the bleach smell away. I felt myself falling through the floor, through the office, through the layers of the labyrinth. I could hear the auditor howling, a sound like tearing metal. And then, the warmth, like sitting by a fireplace while a storm rages outside. I felt the texture of cotton, the weight of a blanket, the scent of her hair, vanilla and lavender. I woke up. The sheets were damp with sweat. My back was pressed against hers. I reached out. I could feel the heat radiating from her skin. It was Friday. The spreadsheets were still waiting. The routine was still there. But the orb was gone. My phone sat on the nightstand. One new message. Let me know if you ever need another jar. I didn't delete it. I just stared at it for a long time. I didn't go to work. I stayed. I watched my daughter sleep. I watched the way her chest rose and fell. It's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. But sometimes, when I look into the corner of the room, I see a shadow that doesn't belong to any furniture. A long, oily smudge. The auditor didn't leave. He's just waiting for me to get tired of being happy again. Waiting for me to reach for the glass. I'm happy now, truly. But I keep a hammer under the bed, just in case the room starts to smell like ozone again. If you find a glass jar on your doorstep, don't look at the light inside. It's not sunshine, it's a debt. And eventually, the auditor comes to collect. Do you remember your mother's middle name? Are you sure? Check again before it's gone.